All right there, everybody. Hi there and welcome back. We are still on May 25th, 1908. We've got the Cleveland Naps at the Philadelphia Athletics for you once again. The Naps are still in first place, about a game and a half in front of St. Louis. But remember that they've played fewer games than the Browns. And because we're not using the as-played schedule, we're using the as-scheduled schedule, every team's going to have an even number of games when we're done with all of this. So this idea that like they're going to end up winning in the end might not necessarily be true, even with a good winning percentage. We'll see what happens. Naps at 21-12, the Browns at 21-15, Athletics 20-16, Red Sox 20-17. So yeah, we'll see what happens here today in this game. Interesting lineup, of course, because Jack Coombs is pitching for Philadelphia. It's his turn. He's usually the guy I have in center field. I have him still hitting 7th instead of 9th, so we'll see if that makes a difference or not. I doubt it'll make much of a difference, but we'll see. Here is Josh Clark for the Naps with the new and improved lineups. And the rule is a 13 for a 14, and he takes a walk. Coombs has a problem with wildness. That's the 30th that he's given up this season. His record, as you can see, 5-4, 2.36 ERA. So Clark's on at first. That'll bring up Bradley. Clark does have an 11. The question's always bunt or hit and run. I think we're going to try the hit and run this time around, though there's a good argument that we should bunt. And the roll, as you can see, is a 35 for a 42, and Bradley's hit by the pitch, and that brings up LaJoie with runners on at first and second. In real life at this time, the Naps had Stovall hitting third, LaJoie fourth, but LaJoie's having a better season so far. That's why we have him up here. And Napoleon rolls a 34 for a 44. It's a fly ball over to center, and it's Moran who has that for the out. There's one away. Here now, George Stovall. So up comes George Stovall here, beginning of this one. And there we go, just getting my other thing open here on the side. Stovall hitting 257, but that on-base percentage and slugging percentage is not so great. His roll is a 62 for a 12, and that's going to be a walk, and this is where the W really hurts Jack. So Jack walks the bases loaded. That'll bring up Jay Clark, the catcher. And there's a real question about what you want to do here. I mean, do you swing away? Do you want to bunt with Clark, right? We'll bring the infield in, even though it's early. And he's hitting 241, but only 5 driven in. I think we will bunt. Let's give that a chance and sort of see what happens. And the roll here is a 52 for a 27, which is a foul strike. The infield comes in again. We'll try this one more time. It's a 42 for a 38. And that ends up being a triple steal, so he misses the bunt, and all 3 runners advance. It's now a 1-0 lead. So the Naps don't have a single hit. They have 2 men on, and that was pretty intense. We're going to go ahead and walk Jay Clark, so walk him. We do walk him. The roll would have been a 64 for a 13. He would have struck out. And base is still loaded with 1 out, and here comes Joe Birmingham, and we'll try the infield in again. I don't think we're going to bunt with Joe. We'll swing away, Mr. 15 RBIs, and his roll 42 for a 13, and that's a strikeout. Good thing we didn't bunt. That would have been, Bradley would have been a dead duck at home. 2 away, and here's Bill Hinchman. He rolls a 21 for a 30, and it's a fly ball to left. Hartzell has it for the out, and we go to the bottom of the first inning. And that was a little bit long. We usually don't have first innings that last that long in 1908, but this is a little bit different. It'll bring up Topsy Hartzell here for the Athletics, and this lineup has changed as well. Hartzell's only hitting 224, but has a 365 on base percentage, which is good. He's fast, and that was the thing that finally convinced me when I was doing these lineups. His roll, 46 for a 29. Ground ball back to Liebhardt, who throws to first, and there's 1 away. Glenn Liebhardt for the Naps, 1-4 is his record, 2.41 ERA, 56 innings pitched. Next batter up is Simon Nichols, who rolls a 25 for a 9, and there's a base hit right away over short. That'll bring up big Eddie Collins. So it's between Eddie and Jimmy Collins. In real life, Jimmy Collins actually hit third. There's a little bit of a mystery here. I thought about doing a video on this, but I don't know what the answer is. The problem is that Jimmy hit third for a good portion of the season. We're not going to do that here because he's hitting like garbage. Eddie was out of the lineup, but he pinch hit in about 3 different games in a row. I can't figure out why he was out. There's nothing in the Philadelphia papers, and I don't have access to the Cleveland papers, so I have to sort of like use what I have. Nichols doesn't have an 11, so we won't do any of that stuff. Eddie rolls a 65 for a 35. There is a little E-roll. Let's see what happens. It's a 36 out of the range. It's a foul out to the catcher. Clark has that 2 away, and here comes Harry Davis. So 2 outs for the Athletics, bottom of the first, down 1-0. And his roll is a 64 for a 41, changed to a 36. That'll be a wild pitch, allows Nichols to move to second. So Nichols now scoring position. Here he does have 18 RBIs. And the roll's a 46 for a 13, and he strikes out. And with that, we will go now to the top of the second inning. The score still 1-0 in favor of the Cleveland Naps. And that will bring up, Charlie Hickman. Hickman has only had one plate appearance. I'm starting him because he started in real life, so we'll give him a chance. I haven't given him a chance at all this replay. His roll is a 62 for a 12. There is a little E roll, as always. And it's a 34, so it's out of the range. That's going to be a ground ball over to first base. Davis goes to the bag himself, one away. Glenn Liebhardt, now the pitcher, hitting 222, rolls a 63 for a 32 fly ball to right. That'll be playable there for Murphy, 2 away. Here comes Josh Clark. Clark, of course, walked, stole a base, first time up, ended up scoring. His roll 43 for a 29. Comebacker over to Coombs. He had a Schreckengoss who throws to first for the out. You can tell where I look for the name of the pitcher. I'm always looking down at the bottom of the lineup. So no score for the Clevelands in the top of the second inning. We go now to the bottom of the second, and it'll be Danny Murphy here for Philadelphia. Murphy hitting 232. He rolls a 12 for a 24. Ground ball to short, and it'll be Hinchman with it on to first, one away. Here comes Jimmy Collins. Hinchman, not a great shortstop. We've decided to do something close to what the actual outfield was like for Cleveland at this time. I don't know. Collins rolls at 53 for a 20, changed to 17. That's going to be a single, and then he gets the second on an error committed by Hickman, who is not a good outfielder. And so Collins winds up on his second base, and here comes Jack Coombs. Coombs hitting 206, which makes him look a little bit like a modern-day pitcher, but it's actually not that bad for 1908. Coombs, who's the regular right fielder pitching today, and his roll is a 64 for a 29. That's a ground ball to first base. Stovall has it, flips over to Liebhardt, and Collins goes to third. So 2 away. Here's Herbie Moran, who's the center fielder hitting 8th, and with that kind of card, he should be hitting 9th. His roll is a 63 for a 30, and that's going to be a fly ball deep to left, and Clark has that for the out. That'll do it for the bottom of the second inning, and so we go on here to the top of the third inning. Still no score, a 1-0 game, in favor of Cleveland. Here comes Bill Bradley. Bradley was hit by a pitch last time up. He rolls a 65 for a 35. It's a pop-up left side. It'll be easy for Jimmy Collins, one away. Here comes Napoleon LaJoie. And he rolls a 55 for a 7. That'll be a single to right, and that'll bring up Stovall. So LaJoie gets another base hit. He's getting that average up there. Here comes George hitting 257. And his roll 46 for a 29. Comebacker to Coombs, who turns around and goes to Nichols, the shortstop, covering at second base for the out. 2 away, and here comes Jay Clark again. Clark was walked intentionally last time up, rolls a 21 for a 30. It's a fly ball to center. Moran has that for the out. And there you have it. So we go now to the bottom of the third inning. It's still a 1-0 lead in favor of Cleveland, who now actually have a hit. How about that? Here comes Otzi Schreckengost, who's hitting in the number 9 hole. His roll 42 for a 13. He strikes out. 1 away, and it'll bring up Topsy Hartzell. Topsy rolls a 14 for a 43. There is a little E roll, however. And it's going to be a 42 out of the range. It's a fly ball to left, and Clark has that for the out, 2 away. Simon Nichols now up there. Rolls a 41 for a 28. That'll be a ground ball easy over to Hinchman, who goes to first for the out. That's the end of that half inning. We go to the top of the fourth inning, and we're playing a little bit faster here. Still 1-0. Here comes Joe Birmingham for Cleveland. Birmingham rolls a 25 for a 10. That'll be a single to center. That'll bring up Bill Hinchman hitting a woeful 205, and it's time to bunt. Roll 14 for a 30. There's a little E-roll. It's going to be a 31 out of the range. So it's a good bunt to the left side. Jimmy Collins on it and throws over to Eddie Collins covering at first. Birmingham moves to second. 1 away. Here's Charlie Hickman. Charlie 0 for 1 today. And his roll 22 for a 7. That's a single to right field. That'll score another run, make this a 2-0 game. So Hickman gets it done off of Jack Coombs. Up comes Glenn Liebhardt with only 1 down, and he's going to bunt. 2-0 Cleveland. The roll 26 for a 13. There's a foul strike. Next roll 35 for a 13, so there's 2 strikes now on Glenn. And he rolls a 63 for a 32. Gets the bunt down that third time. Third time's a charm. It's bunted over to Jimmy Collins, who throws to Davis at first for the out. Hickman moves to second. So another successful bunt. Here comes Josh Clark. He rolls a 41 for a 28 ground ball to short. Nichols on to first. And that sends us now to the bottom of the fourth inning. Cleveland with the 2-0 lead. And up comes Eddie Collins. Collins today is 0 for 1. He's hitting 277. He's been one of the better hitters here for Philadelphia, as they've had a relatively successful campaign until they face Cleveland. Collins' roll is a 21 for a 30. Fly ball to left, and Clark has that for the out. There's one away. Up next is Harry Davis. 0 for 1 today. Struck out last time up. Rolls a 12 for a 24. There is a little E-roll. It's a 53 out of the range. With a ground ball to short, Hinchman has it. Throws on to first, and there's 2 away. Here comes Danny Murphy. Murphy's 0 for 1. Rolls a 21 for a 30. Fly ball left field. Clark has that one for the out. That brings us to the top of the fifth inning, and it's still a 2-0 lead in favor of Cleveland. It's Bill Bradley to lead this off. Low scoring, low hitting game as Bradley rolls a 13 for a 14. That'll be a walk. Up comes Napoleon. Now, as Bradley, I know he's fast. Does he have the 11? He does. So we're going to do some hit and run action here. Joey's 1 for 2, one of the 3 Cleveland hits, and he rolls a 51 for an 8. Be a ground ball over to second. Eddie Collins on to first. Bradley moves to second. 1 away, and here comes George Stovall with a golden opportunity to pick up an RBI. 149 plate appearances, only 9 driven in. His rolls a 12 for a 24. It's a pop-up. Nichols, the shortstop, has that, and he fails again. 2 away, and here comes Clark. Clark's roll 52 for a 27. That'll be a grounder to Jimmy Collins, a third, and he throws on to first for the out. And now we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. It is a 2-0 lead for Cleveland, and here comes Jimmy Collins again. Collins is 1 for 1, reached base, and then went to second on an error committed by Hickman when he kicked it. His roll 34 for a 44, and here's a little E-roll. It's a 23 right on the range, and so it's changed to 17. That's going to be another error on the right fielder. Hickman commits a poor error. Collins makes it all the way to second yet again. So that brings up Jack Coombs with a chance to drive one in. Coombs, pretty okay hitter. He's driven in 1 this season, hitting 200. His roll is a 51 for an 8, so that'll be a comeback to Liebhart, and Collins goes to third as the throw goes to first. That's 1 away. And here comes Herbie Moran, and I'm looking at his card for the 13s. He has 1, 2 of them, yeah. And so I think this is what we're going to do. The infield, of course, will come in, and I think Moran is going to bunt. Not too much else he can do with that card. It rolls a 23 for a 32. It's a good bunt of the left side. Bradley fields it. His only play, first base, throws to Stovall. The run scores. It is a 2-1 game, and here comes Schreckengos, the number 9 hitter. Aussie rolls a 46 for a 27. Ground ball to Bradley, who throws to first for the out, and that'll take us now to the top of the 6th inning. But Philadelphia gets one back. It is a 2-1 lead now for Cleveland. Here comes Joe Birmingham. Birmingham rolls a 55 for a 9. That's a single for him, and then he's caught trying to steal, so he'll be the first out. 1 away. Here comes Bill Hinchman now. 2-1, very close game. Rolls a 46 for a 13. It's a strikeout. Second one that Jack Coombs has collected against 4 walks. Charlie Hickman now, and he rolls a 55 for an 8. That's going to be a fly ball over to center. Moran has that for the out. And that does that for the top of the 7th inning. So we go now, or 6th inning, I'm sorry. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and it's still 2-1 Cleveland. Up is Topsy Hartzell. Hartzell rolls a 24 for a 13 and strikes out. You don't want to see your leadoff hitter doing that. 1 away. Strikeout number 3 for Liebhart. Here comes Nichols. And there it is. Rolls an 11 for a 1, and here she goes. Next rolls a 23 for a 6. That'll be a double to right center field. And so Nichols finds a way to get onto second base. It brings up Eddie Collins with a chance to tie this ball game. And so the fans are starting to clap in rhythm and stand up on their feet. Collins with a golden opportunity here to get one back here on Cleveland and maybe put the Athletics back in this pennant race. And his roll 31 for a 9. That's going to be a ground ball over to Stovall. The first baseman goes to the bag himself. Nichols makes it to third, but there are 2 away. Here comes Harry Davis. Davis is 0 for 2. He's driven in 18, however. And he rolls a 55 for an 8. That's going to be a single that will score the run, and then he is caught trying to steal second because of the little C. But he does it. Harry Davis, the man of the hour. So Harry Davis gets the big base hit that ties the ball game. We have a brand new ball game as we go to the top of the 7th inning. It'll be that pitcher, Glenn Liebhart, starting it off for the Naps. Look at this, 2 runs and 4 hits for both teams. 2 errors on the naps has been the only difference in that column. Roll is a 63 for Liebhardt for a 32. It's a fly ball over to right field. Murphy has that for the out, 1 away. Josh Clark comes up next. Clark rolls a 34 for a 44. Another fly ball deep to center. Moran has that, 2 gone. Here comes Bill Bradley. Bradley rolls a 33 for a 7. That's a single to right. Coombs gives up only his 5th hit, and that'll bring up Napoleon. Swing away, but we won't do anything fancy, and the roll's a 63 for a 31. It's a fly ball to center. Moran has that for the out. If we were playing APBA ball, maybe we do a hit and run there, but it doesn't necessarily make sense in that circumstance, so we decided not to. And so we go to the bottom of the 7th inning, still a 2-2 ball game. Here now is Danny Murphy. 0 for 2 today. 14 driven in. Pretty good hitter, not hitting for average at the moment. His roll's 44 for an 8. Let's see if I can do this right. Here we go, 44 for an 8. That's a single to left center field. So that one split Clark and Birmingham and Murphy on at first base. Murphy has an S but an 11. Gotta love that combination. Brings up Jimmy Collins, who's hitting a woeful 208, and you know what time it is. So we bunt with Collins. Rolls a 52 for a 27. He misses twice, so there are 2 strikes on him. We'll try the hit and run. And roll 34 for a 44. That's going to be a single to right center, and that sends Murphy to third. So we finally choose the right time to pull one of those off. And man, now you have a real choice on your hands, right? So Coombs has not been hitting that well lately. Collins is not a particularly fast runner. Murphy is slow, but it doesn't usually matter. Coombs has 1, 2, 13s in his card, so bunting is definitely an option. There's not a whole lot of things that will happen that are bad if you bunt. We're going to go for, I think, a suicide squeeze, and we'll have some fun with this. So here we go. Suicide squeeze time. And the roll is a 16 for a 26. It's going to work. It's a bunt over to the right side. Davis has it, has to go. I'm sorry, Davis. Wrong team. Stovall has it, has to go to LaJoey at first. Collins makes second, and the go-ahead run scores. And so it works. Coombs with the suicide squeeze, and might wind up winning his own ball game himself. Here comes Herbie Moran, and the crowd is going absolutely nuts. Moran comes up, 1 away, runner on at second base. Herbie's hitting 364, and his roll is a 31 for a 14, and he walks. There we go. And that will bring up Aussie Schreckenghost. Aussie's hitting 207, and it's time to bunt. Try to get Topsy Hartzell up there. So here comes Schreckenghost to bunt. Everyone knows he will. Rolls a 56 for a 34. There is, however, a little E. See if there's another miscue by Cleveland. And look at that. The roll's an 11. So it ends up becoming a 22, which means that it is a catcher's interference. That is a rare play. So Schreckenghost is awarded first base on a catcher's interference, presumably because Clark was throwing the ball over to third base and ended up either obstructing Schreckenghost's path, or maybe he hit the bat while Schreckenghost was bunting. I mean, you come up with a narrative yourself. That loads the bases now with only 1 out. Infield comes in, Topsy Hartzell at the plate, and you know he's going to be swinging away. 3-2, the Athletics with the lead. This, again, very, very key game. If the Athletics win this one, they're still definitely in the hunt. And the roll's a 13 for a 14. Glenn Liebhardt watches as his control just completely fails him. Ball 4, Topsy Hartzell, and it is a 4-2 lead. And that will make your manager's hair turn gray. Man, walk him in that circumstance. So the second walk is all given up by Cleveland, but Liebhardt has now given up 19 walks this season. That brings up Simon Nichols with the bases still loaded. That infield goes in. We're not going to bunt. There we go. And the roll is a 32 for a 26. That's going to be a ground ball over to LaJoey. He throws home, and they get the force, but that's all. The bases remain loaded. There are 2 away now, and here comes Eddie Collins, 4-2 Athletics, and they're knocking on the door. Collins 0 for 3 today, hitting 273 though. And the roll's a 45 for a 14. And so Liebhardt has walked in another run. It's a 5-2 lead. And here comes Harry Davis. What a time to lose your composure. Third walk given up by Glenn Liebhardt, 2 with the bases loaded. And here comes Davis. And the roll's a 52 for a 27. That's a ground ball over to third base. Bradley goes to the bag by himself. And finally, the inning ends. But not before a lot of damage is done. Philadelphia scored 3 runs there in that bottom of the 7th inning. We go now to the top of the 8th. It's a 5-2 lead for the Athletics. Man, what a turnaround that's been. Here's George Stovall. He rolls a 25 for an 8. That's going to be a ground ball to short, and Nichols has it on the first, one away. Jay Clark now. And he rolls a 31 for a 9. That's going to be a single over shortstop. Nichols can't quite get to that one. So that brings up Birmingham. Of course, there's not too much to worry about, though, because they're not going to bunt down by 3. And that rolls a 44 for an 8. That's a ground ball to the left side. Collins has it and throws over to first for the out. Clark moves to second. 2 away, and here comes Bill Hinchman. Hinchman rolls 35 for a 40. And that's going to be a little bouncer in front of the plate. It'll be Schreckengos throwing over to third for the out, or first for the out, I'm sorry. And we go now to the bottom of the 8th inning. The score currently Philadelphia 5 and Cleveland 2. It'll be Danny Murphy here to lead this off. Murphy so far today is single, scored a run. 3 trips to the plate. He rolls a 44 for an 8, and there's another one. Singles to left center field. That's the 7th hit of the game for Philadelphia, and that'll bring up Jimmy Collins. We are actually going to do the hit and run this time. Remember, Collins last time failed twice at trying to bunt and then got the big base hit. See if he can do something similar again. We're going to re-roll this one, actually. So it was between rolls. It's a 23 for a 32. That's a fly ball over to right, and Hickman has that for the out. There's one away. Jack Coombs now up there, and I think we're actually going to have him bunt. And the roll is a 34 for a 44. If we hit and run there, it's a base hit. It says a bunt to the right side. Stovall fields it, flips over to Napoleon LaJoie covering at first, and Murphy moves up to second. So there's 2 away now. Here comes Herbie Moran with another big situation. He had that big squeeze play a little bit earlier. 0 for 1 today with a walk and that sacrifice. And his roll is a 42 for a 32. It's a fly ball to right field. Hickman has that for the out. And that'll do it there for the bottom of the 8th inning. Now we go to the top of the 9th, and we'll see what happens. It's going to be Charlie Hickman leading this off for the Cleveland Naps, and they are in desperation time. Hickman's roll 44 for an 8. That's going to be a ground ball to short. Nichols has it on to first, 1 away. Liebhardt, the GOAT, after giving up 2 runs on 2 walks and 5 runs total, is going to be lifted for Terry Turner. So Terry Turner comes in. Turner actually started at short around this time for Cleveland. We decided not to start him. If you haven't watched the video about the lineups, decided not to start him kind of as a spur-of-the-moment situation at the very end. I thought, I don't know if I really want to start this guy. He's about to be injured for about like a month or something like that, so we won't worry too much about that. Here comes Terry, who's hitting 286, but only 7 plate appearances. And his rolls are 13 for a 14. He walks and then steals a base, so maybe we should do something with him. That means that Coombs now is a C, and that brings up Josh Clark. That is not what Jack wanted to do. 1 away, he lost it to Turner and then gave up the stolen base. That is the 5th walk that Jack Coombs has given up, his 34th walk given up this season. Here comes Clark, and look at that. He rolls a 15 for an 11. That's going to be a single. And the runner is thrown out at home. So Turner, not fast enough, is thrown out by a great throw from Hartzell down to the catcher, Schreckengos. Clark then steals second base. So another stolen base in this inning. But a great throw there by Topsy Hartzell prevents a run from being scored. And now there are 2 away. Here comes Bill Bradley. Another close, intense moment. Bradley's roll is a 41 for a 28. Ground ball to short. And Nichols has it on to first, and there you have it. So the Athletics win this one 5-2. Pretty exciting ball game. As you can tell, I'm trying to bunt a little bit more frequently. I don't think we'll ever have enough. Philadelphia with 3, the Naps with 2. So we've improved a little bit in that regard. The Athletics won this one, though, fairly convincingly after that big 7th inning, and that's the way that it's going to be as these 2 teams meet. Naps lose their 13th. They'll be 21-13. Philadelphia now 21-16, and it's going to stay really close here in the American League in 1908. Hope you enjoyed that one. If so, leave a little comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you're doing while you're listening to this, unless you're driving or something. And I hope you have a good day. I'll talk with you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.